Welcome back to my channel. Hey everyone, life is a circle. You can feel it every time the sun rises and falls, every time you face a challenge that feels a little too familiar. We chase dreams that look different, but often come from the same longing, the desire to be seen, to be loved, to matter. We walk paths we've walked before, sometimes thinking this time it'll be different, only to find ourselves back at the same place, asking the same questions. But here's the truth, that's not failure. That's the game of life reminding us we still have something to learn. Every circle we walk carries a purpose. When we stumble over the same stone, it's not the world punishing us. It's grace giving us another chance to get it right. Sometimes we keep meeting the same kind of people, facing the same disappointments, or fighting the same fears because life is patient with us. It keeps turning until we finally see what it's been trying to show us all along. You see, life doesn't want you to lose. It wants you to understand. The game never ends because learning never ends. There's beauty in that circle. Think about how the seasons work. Spring comes, then summer, then fall, then winter, and then it all begins again. Every season prepares the next one. You can't rush through winter just because you like summer better. You can't skip over your hardships because they're part of the same circle that brings joy. Every cold wind, every quiet night, every storm, it's shaping you into someone stronger, someone wiser, someone ready for the next turn. And the amazing thing is, every time the circle turns, you're not in the same place you were before. You've learned something. You've changed, even if it's just a little. You might be walking the same path, but you're walking it as a different person. That's growth. That's the secret of the game. You see, the goal isn't to reach the end. The goal is to become someone new with every round. We live in a world that tells us to win, to finish first, to have more, to get ahead. But life doesn't hand out trophies at the finish line. It hands out lessons in the middle of the game. And the people who truly live aren't the ones who escape the circle. They are the ones who find meaning inside it. When you stop asking, when will this end? And start asking, what is this teaching me? That's when the circle becomes sacred. So don't despise the repetition. Don't grow bitter when life feels like it's circling back again. It's not a trap, it's an invitation. Every loop is a lesson in disguise. Every return a reminder that there's still light to find. The circle isn't here to wear you down. It's here to raise you up, one turn at a time. And when you finally understand that, you'll see that the game never really ends. It just keeps opening new doors to who you're meant to become. Every round of this game we call life brings with it a new challenge. Some days you feel like you're soaring, and others you feel like you can barely stand. But no matter which turn you take, whether it's one that fills you with joy or one that breaks your heart, both carry lessons that shape who you are becoming. You see, life isn't a straight path. It's a winding circle filled with moments that test your patience, stretch your faith, and refine your spirit. Every success, every disappointment, every quiet in-between moment is part of the same divine classroom. When things go well, we learn confidence. When they don't, we learn character. But here's the challenge. We often embrace the victories and resist the defeats, forgetting that both are meant to work together. The wins remind us that hard work pays off, but the losses remind us to stay humble, to keep our hearts soft and our spirits teachable. Without the balance of both, we grow uneven. One without the other leaves us incomplete. Think about it this way. When a child first learns to walk, every step forward is followed by a fall. The fall isn't failure, it's feedback. It's life saying, adjust your balance, try again. And when that child finally takes a few steps without falling, it's not because the ground changed. It's because the child did. That's the rhythm of growth. Life teaches us through the turn of events, through the up and down motion of progress. It's not about how quickly we master the game, but how deeply we understand its lessons. Sometimes we find ourselves asking, "Why did this happen to me?" or "Why now?" But maybe the better question is, "What can this teach me?" Because in every difficult turn, there's something sacred waiting to be uncovered. Maybe it's patience, maybe it's compassion, maybe it's strength you didn't know you had. Even the moments that hurt the most often leave behind the wisdom we need for the next season. And when we start seeing life through that lens, everything changes. We stop measuring our worth by how smooth the road is, and start measuring it by how steady we walk through the rough parts. We stop labeling days as good or bad, and instead call them necessary. Because even the turns that lead us through the shadows are guiding us toward light. And it's in those moments, when we can't see the way ahead but choose to trust anyway, that we grow the most. Life is generous with its lessons, but only to those willing to listen. Every turn holds a truth meant for you, something that prepares you for the next step, the next test, the next blessing. So don't rush the turns and don't resent them. They're shaping the story you're meant to live. Because at the end of it all, it's not the number of turns that matter, it's the wisdom you gather along the way. Every day, we make choices that seem small, what we say, how we react, whether we forgive or hold on to anger. Yet those small choices are like pebbles tossed into a still pond. The ripples move outward, touching places we cannot see, returning to us in ways we never expect. That's the mystery of life's circle. It always brings back what we send into it. Every action, every word, every thought carries a seed of consequence. The choice you make in one moment can shape the peace or pain you'll meet in another. You see, right choices don't always feel easy, and wrong ones don't always look wrong at first. Sometimes the path that glitters the most leads to emptiness, while the quiet, humble road holds the treasure of peace. The circle of life doesn't forget, it remembers, it keeps turning until the lesson is learned. And when we understand that truth, we begin to live with a sense of holy responsibility. We start asking ourselves, what kind of ripple am I sending out into this world? A single act of kindness, a single word of truth spoken with love, can circle back in a way that changes everything. You might never see the full effect of your goodness, but it moves through the world like light through darkness. The same is true for pride, for selfishness, for bitterness. Those choices move too. They darken the water around us, and one day they find their way home. That's why every choice matters. It's not about perfection. It's about intention. When your heart is right, your circle begins to heal. There's a quiet power in choosing right even when no one sees it. Integrity isn't loud. It's that small, steady voice that says, do what's good, even if it costs you. And though the world might tell you that cutting corners, holding grudges, or stepping on others is how you win, the circle will prove otherwise. Because the truth always comes back around. What we give, we get. What we build, we stand on. What we break, we eventually face. Every time you choose compassion over judgment, honesty over convenience, humility over pride, you shape the circle you'll one day walk through again. And it's not just about you. The circle touches others too. Your decisions can heal or harm, uplift or tear down, inspire or discourage. You might think your circle is small, but in reality, it stretches farther than you could ever measure. So when you stand at that crossroads, when you feel torn between what's easy and what's right, remember the circle is watching, and more than that, it's waiting. The ripples you create today will meet you again tomorrow. And when they do, may they come back as peace, not pain, as light, not regret. Because in the end, life doesn't reward the clever, it rewards the faithful. Choose rightly, and the circle will return the goodness you've given, multiplied and shining. Life has a way of holding up a mirror when we least expect it. We think we're playing the game, moving through the motions, chasing goals, solving problems. But then something happens, and suddenly we see ourselves. The circle turns, the pressure rises, and what's inside us comes to the surface. The truth is, the game doesn't change us as much as it reveals us. It shows us the patience we thought we had, the strength we didn't know we needed, and sometimes the weaknesses we've tried so hard to hide. When everything's going well, it's easy to believe we have faith, that we're strong, that we're kind. But when life spins us into confusion, when things don't go our way, that's when we meet ourselves face to face. The words we speak in anger, the choices we make in fear, the way we treat others when we're hurting, those moments are the mirror. They show us what's really in our hearts. And though that reflection can be hard to look at, it's one of the greatest gifts life gives us. Because once you see yourself clearly, you can begin to change. You can't heal what you won't face. You can't grow past what you refuse to admit. The circle turns, and every spin offers another reflection, a chance to look deeper, to choose differently, to love more honestly. The game isn't against us, it's for us. It's designed to wake us up to the truth of who we are becoming. Think about it. When a storm hits, two trees stand side by side. One breaks, the other bends. The storm didn't make one strong and the other weak. It only revealed what was already there. Life works the same way. When pressure comes, when the winds of trouble start to blow, that's when our roots show. And it's not something to fear, it's something to understand. Because the moment we see where we're shallow, we can dig deeper. The moment we see where we're fragile, we can grow stronger. The mirror within the circle doesn't lie, but it also doesn't condemn. It invites. It calls us to honesty, to humility, to transformation. When you see impatience staring back at you, that's not failure, it's a reminder to slow down. When you see pride or fear or anger in your reflection, that's life saying, this is where the work begins. And when you start to change from within, the circle begins to change around you. So don't run from the mirror. Don't curse the reflection. The very things you wish weren't, there might be the ones guiding you toward the person you were meant to become. Every spin of the circle is another chance to look inward, to face yourself with courage, and to let the light reshape you from the inside out. Because in the end, we don't win by beating the game, we win by becoming true inside it. There comes a time in every life when the circle breaks, the rhythm stops, the motion that once felt endless suddenly collapses into stillness. Maybe it's the loss of someone you love, a dream that falls apart, or a failure so heavy that it takes your breath away. In those moments, it feels like the circle has shattered and there's no way back. You look around, and everything you thought was certain slips through your hands like sand. But even in that silence, especially in that silence, there's grace waiting to be found. When the circle breaks, it doesn't mean life has abandoned you. It means life is inviting you to pause, to look deeper, to listen to what can only be heard in the quiet. We spend so much time trying to keep the game moving, trying to hold everything together, that we forget some of the greatest lessons are learned when everything falls apart. The break isn't there to punish you, it's there to prepare you. Because when the circle breaks, something within you begins to awaken. It's in the broken moments that faith becomes real. It's easy to talk about strength when life is smooth, but it's in the breaking that we learn what strength truly means. It's not about never falling. It's about learning how to rise again. Every time you get up from the ground, you stand a little taller, a little wiser, a little more certain that no storm can take your purpose away. The circle breaking is not the end of your story. It's the turning of a page. Think of a seed buried in the earth. It looks like it's been destroyed. It's dark, it's cold, it's broken open. But that breaking is what allows new life to emerge. The same is true for us. Sometimes the only way for light to reach the deepest parts of who we are is through the cracks. What feels like the end is often the beginning of something far greater, something that couldn't be born until the old circle gave way. And though the pain of loss or failure can make us question everything, there's a quiet truth that holds us steady. Grace does not end when the circle does. It meets us there. It gathers the broken pieces and begins to shape them into something new. The break gives you a new rhythm, one that's slower, softer, but truer. It teaches you to live not by control, but by trust. So when the circle breaks and everything you've known stops spinning, don't be afraid to rest in the stillness. Don't rush to repair it or pretend it never happened. Let it teach you. Let it soften your heart and strengthen your spirit, because the circle may pause, but life doesn't end there. In that quiet moment of surrender, a new beginning is already being written. And when the circle turns again, you'll rise, not as the same person, but as someone who's learned how to begin again with deeper wisdom and a stronger heart. At the end of every circle, when the dust settles and the lessons have been learned, there comes a quiet understanding. It's not loud, it doesn't demand attention, but it fills the heart like morning light slipping through an open window. This understanding doesn't come from winning the game or escaping it. It comes from walking through it with love and humility. It's the kind of wisdom that softens the heart and clears the mind, reminding us that every turn, every stumble, every victory was leading us right here, to this moment of peace. Life's circles can be exhausting. We move through them again and again, sometimes not realizing that what we've been searching for isn't outside of us, it's being formed within us. Every hardship smooths the rough edges of pride. Every delay teaches patience. Every loss deepens compassion. Slowly, the pieces come together, and we begin to see the pattern, the light that was always weaving through the darkness. The circle was never meant to trap us. It was meant to transform us. When we choose to walk through our circles with love, something beautiful happens. Love changes how we see everything. The same situations that once made us bitter now make us wiser. The same people who once tested our patience now teach us grace. Love takes the sharp corners of life and rounds them into understanding. It allows us to forgive others, to forgive ourselves, and to move forward with peace instead of resentment. And humility, it's the light that makes that love real. Without humility, love becomes self-serving. But when humility walks beside love, they turn the endless game into a dance. Humility says, I don't know it all. It says, I still have more to learn. It keeps our hearts open even when life doesn't go our way. Because in the end, humility isn't weakness. It's wisdom in motion. It's knowing that we are not the center of the circle, but a part of something far greater than ourselves. As we keep walking, as the circle turns again and again, that light grows stronger. We start to see that everything connects, every pain, every joy, every quiet moment of waiting. The light reveals that there was purpose in every step, even the ones that hurt, and in that realization, peace begins to take root. We stop fighting the circle. We start moving with it. What once felt like a battle begins to feel like a rhythm, a dance between struggle and grace, between falling and rising, between learning and loving. When that light fills your heart, you no longer fear the next turn. You walk with calmness, with faith, knowing that whatever comes, it will bring more understanding, more light, more of the person you were created to be. The game becomes a journey, and the journey becomes a song of gratitude. because in the end, every circle, no matter how dark it once seemed, always leads back to the light. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this journey with me. If this story resonated with you, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more stories from the heart. See you next time.